What podcast reviewer 37 describes as an indiscriminate hellish ride that I would not wish on my worst enemy. The industry's elite have said time and again, man, fuck those guys. Get ready, if your ears had butts, they'd about to be fucked. Welcome to the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show.
Oh, snapperoonies. Shit City. Here it is. The Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. Episode 15. 1-5. As always, I'm Josh. I'm here with my good buddy co-host, Adam.
Howdy.
And, you know, today I want to give a, I don't know, not a warning, but just a preface to people. This episode is probably going to be more, at the beginning at least, more centered on sports-centric type talk. Because we've been talking about doing a sports podcast, but we don't know if we've got enough fucking juice or enough knowledge or enough, I don't know what the word is, to actually consistently talk about sports. So we're going to use the BFN show because this is the show that we talk about whatever the fuck we want. We're going to use this to try to see how our legs go, I guess, for talking about sports and how long. And if we do a couple of these episodes and it turns out, okay, cool, you know what, we actually have something to say, then we're going to probably just incorporate the Game Rage Sports the Game Rage Sports podcast into the mix or something equivalent. We'll come up with a name, whatever. So today we're going to be talking about sporting things. So if you're not a sports person and you don't like sports, then you're probably, as Adam would say, are going to have a really chapped ass. And Adam wants to bring back the phrase chapped ass or ass chapping or something to that effect.
Yes. Actual phrase is this really chaps my ass. Or calling somebody a chap ass because you get worked up over nothing. Or they just get hot-headed. And I just like the phrase because it has chap and it just rolls off the tongue. I love it. So anyways,
all right. So
how are we gonna start this one off?
So I'm kind of thinking that the first thing we could talk about is just our maybe personal experiences with sports, maybe sports we've played.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. And then we can get into our sports that we like currently, that we watch and kind of follow, and teams that we're interested in.
Yes.
And then there is some news regarding a team that at least, well, you and I are both interested in the opposite teams, you know, in this deal.
It affects both of us.
Me negatively, directly, you positively, but
directly.
But directly affects both of us. So that'll be interesting. We can talk about that. And then I kind of also, I feel like I kind of want to do a little bit about fantasy football too, because
okay, I could do that because
we've got a wealth of fucking knowledge.
I hate it.
Yeah, so do I. I fucking hate. I don't play it anymore because of this. But anyways, so I think we got enough here to do at least a whole episode on sports. So this is the BFN show sports episode. If you don't like it, if you don't like sports, turn it off. But we're also funny, so you might just want to hear it even if you don't like sports. You're probably gonna hear something that'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I guess I will start off and just talk about personally. I've always played sports my whole life. I was always played baseball for sure. That was my number one sport. Obviously with baseball, I've talked about it a little bit on here, but I didn't go anywhere with it. I mean, I played varsity baseball in high school, but that was about it. As far as I got. And then I did play football for a little while. But as things went, the people that I played baseball for didn't want me to risk getting fucking hurt playing football, so I ended up just stopping doing it. I did that for like a year or two, played football, but I got the experience. I did it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, shit, I'd go play football now, man. It's fun. But as far as organized sports go, it's that, and then martial arts, obviously. I don't know if that really, I guess that counts kind of. But that's my personal experience with sports that I've played. I haven't really, in organized terms, played. You know, obviously when you're a kid, you play basketball, you play soccer, you play all those. I never really was. I mean, I'm all right at basketball. I can play fucking horse real well because I can shoot from a distance, but stationary, you know, or doing something that's maybe sort of a trickish shot. I can kind of do those, but not actually playing the game of basketball. I'm kind of terrible at it. basketball, if made real, would be a great sport that I'd probably be good at. But soccer, too much running. I'm fucking not down for that.
Yeah.
Too much theatric. Well, I also actually not too much. I like the theatrics of soccer. I do think that they're fucking hilarious. I think trying to draw penalties off of
nothing
acting is great. That's fucking awesome. It's like wrestling. It's got that aspect to it.
Yeah, there's an
that
art
showman.
to it.
There's an art form and the showmanship there. So I like that about soccer, but I'm not about the running. Get fucked on that. I'm out. So hated soccer. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I played all the big four sports, at least here in America.
Yeah,
and
America.
I did do roller hockey for like a season and a half. And if I were to go back and play a sport now, I would either enter into an old man baseball league or I would go play some sort of hockey just to fight people. And that's pretty much it. I'm not good at hockey. I mean, I can skate, but I'm terrible. I'm not really good at puck handling.
You're going to be the first guy to stab somebody with a skate.
Well, I'll be the second guy because somebody already did that. But
a real kid. I mean, not
on purpose,
not fiction.
Yeah, that's true. No, that guy in
the guy that actually
slit the dude's throat with the fucking skate.
Okay, let me
he super kicked him.
Let me see if I can find that real quickly.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, this just happened recently. It was in, I don't want to say it's minor league hockey. I don't know if that's the right term, but that's the term I'm going to use. It was not professional hockey. It was like a step below that. It was like adult semi-professional hockey. And this dude just, I don't know what the circumstances were or what caused it to happen, but he just straight sweet chin musics this fucking guy with skates on the ice and cuts his throat wide open. And this dude is just gushing. It is a fucking hell of a thing to watch a man die on live television. And you can watch it on recording too, but man, it is just to see this guy just gushing blood, and there is just no way it's done. It's over for him. Like, you could see it the second it happens. You're like, oh, this guy's toast. It's not. There's way too much blood coming out of that wound. He's out, and then yeah, he eventually died from the wound. So that's fucking unfortunate. And I don't know what they're gonna do with the guy who actually did it. I don't know if they're gonna put him on trial or if I don't know where that's at right now. But anyway, that's fucking crazy. So yeah. So if I was gonna go play some sort of a sport now, it would definitely be one of those two.
All right, let me see if I can read this real quickly.
This
is an NPR article that talks about it. So police in South Yorkshire. Shit, I don't want to turn this into a segment where I'm just reading shit off, but just to read it real quickly. Police in South Yorkshire, England, say that they have made an arrest in connection with the death of Adam Johnson, a professional hockey player who died last month after his neck was slashed by the blade of a skate during a game. The man, who authorities have not named, was charged with suspicion of manslaughter and was released on bail. Our investigation continues, and we will provide further updates as and when we can. Wait, so they didn't even find out who the person was? Didn't they?
No, they know who the guy's name is because it was happened on live on TV. There's video of it. What was that in England or is that in Canada?
It says England.
Huh.
Or they captured the guy in England. I don't know if he fled or something, I guess.
Oh, all right.
Maybe, I don't know. What's the guy's name?
That I don't remember. But it's still fucking, it's a crazy.
Matt Petgrave?
That's the guy who got killed or the guy who did it?
The guy that did it.
Damn. Crazy.
Matt Petgrave?
Yeah. Were you Googling him? See what he says?
Yeah, what a fucking crazy situation. But anyways, yeah. So where were we going with that?
Oh, I was just saying that's one of the two sports I'd play just to fight people. That was it. I'd play hockey just to fight people, and I'd go back and do the old man league. I've thought about that. Like, I think I've talked about it on here a couple of times, but I've thought about doing it. And before we started doing this shit, I would have gone and done it just to do it. But now that we've got this shit, there's more better use of my time. I'd rather spend the time doing this than going and play baseball with a bunch of fucking old men.
Or maybe
down the road, it might be a fun story to discuss about going back and playing. But
dude, have you thrown a baseball in a minute?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been like, when was the last time we went and fucking threw the ball around?
I don't know, but I threw a football the other day with my nephew.
How'd that go?
It took me a while for my arm to warm up.
Yeah,
because it felt like my arm was gonna fall. Felt like it was gonna fall off, but yeah, I don't know, dude.
I'm telling you right now, it's probably gonna hurt. Like, if we should just go play fucking catch in the street one of these days, or at the park across the street, just to fucking warm it up and just feel it. You know,
motion, putting your arm over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's such an unnatural fucking motion.
Yeah.
That's why dudes who are pitchers have to have rotator cuff surgery all the time.
Yeah.
Because that fucking rotator cuff is not meant to do that. That throwing motion is not meant to be repetitive over and over again 800 times a month or whatever the fuck, how often they pitch.
Yeah. So just doing that was kind of, I'm like, shit, why is this? It doesn't hurt. It's just discomforting.
Yeah.
And that wasn't there before. And I'm like, I didn't injure my shoulder or anything. It just feels that way. So now I just need to warm it up slowly.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
All right. So let me hear your history and your experience with sports.
Shit. Well, I was really interested in soccer for a time. I used to play youth league soccer. And then everybody else in my immediate family played tennis, so I hopped on that for a minute. I played varsity tennis all 4 years of high school. And then obviously, like, during recess, we'd play football. I was the quarterback usually.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one that could throw amongst my friends. One thing that always bothered me was, like, it was the brown kids versus, like, everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there was these groups of guys in my grade school that this guy obviously played, like, youth football. And, man, like, him and these other guys that were obviously outmatched us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we gave him a good fight, but it was just always kind of like a uphill battle. I always fucking hated that, dude, because nobody ever wanted to play on our fucking team. So we had to compensate.
Because you sucked.
No, we didn't suck. I didn't suck.
The team was just not as good.
But it wasn't fair. Like, it wasn't just like, all right, everybody gets the pick of their players.
Yeah.
Everybody just wanted to be on the winning side. I'm like, man, you guys fucking cocksuckers.
Dude, yeah, I hated that, man. Honestly, I forgot about that too. We did used to play fucking football at school all the time. Man, shit, that's how I got kicked out of junior high, was fucking from playing tackle football.
Yeah.
And for us, it wasn't the brown kids versus everybody. It was the gangbangers versus the non-gangbangers. That's how we differentiated the lines.
Yeah.
And always the gangbangers, we whoop their ass, man, because they're sagging their pants, they're wearing fucking shoes that are not quite athletic.
Yeah.
So we'd always whoop their ass, and then they'd get mad, and then we'd end up fighting at the end of the game because we play tackle football, and we would go hard, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like fucking. You remember? Was it The Replacements? I think that movie with Keanu Reeves, when it's like all the NFL lockout, it's like the NFL lockout or whatever the team was called or the league was called in that movie. And they fucking have these amateur dickheads come into play. And it's like, there's one whole play where they're just drop kicking everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it was when we play. Every play was just drop kicks and fucking body slams.
That's fucking great.
Fucking crazy shit. Sorry. Anyways, I don't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
So, I mean, dude, if there was one sport, I think I never actually got to play baseball in a formal setting in a youth baseball league or even high school, but I always wanted to. But I was also afraid of because I had an experience when I was like 5 years old where my brother threw a baseball and I wasn't quick enough to put my glove up, so I took one right, I think, on the chin or right in my mouth.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that shit hurt. I don't know if I want to take one faster than that. When guys are batting and you tee one off and you take a fucking line drive to your face.
Yeah.
Or even in the gut or whatever the fuck it might be. But that shit sucks. So I never actually played baseball formally. But I did play baseball with like the neighborhood kids that lived around me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, we used to, because where I lived, there's like a it was actually kind of like the perfect garage door because it had the rectangle for a strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
So we used that for the strike zone, and we used tennis balls and gloves, and we basically just used if something looked like a line drive, then we called a single, visible man on base, and then home run was basically over somebody else's house. Like, that was the home run. But we it was just, if nobody else was around, it was just two of us, then it was just invisible men, and we just pitch to each other, and we do it for like 5 innings until your parents tell you to fucking go home and do your homework or eat.
Yeah.
But I say the majority of my time was probably dedicated to fucking tennis. I was a pretty good player, but I don't think I had the competitive edge to play. I just liked hitting the ball.
Yeah.
But I think that's more or less kind of the extent of my experience with sports. But as far as appreciating or being a spectator of sports, I think baseball is probably my number one sport. Like I had a grandmother that lived around Echo Park area, so it's like adjacent to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
So I've always been a fan of Dodgers baseball for as young as I can remember. Hockey, I probably got into that in my teenage years. I wasn't old enough or keen enough to know about like Wayne Gretzky when he was around for and hockey wasn't nearly, I mean, it's still not even big in California just yet, but I mean, it's getting there. I mean, the teams are really the teams are a lot better. I mean, shit, the Ducks won the cup, I think, on one occasion, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know if they did. Did they?
I think they beat the Ottawa Senators in the 2010s. I don't remember what.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah. Then the Kings, they, sometime in the early 2010s, 2012, 2014, Kings won Stanley Cup. I was paying attention to those years, and now they had it's been like a decade since they kind of been relevant to hockey, but now they're kind of turning things around. Football, love the Raiders because when they were here, I paid attention to them.
Yeah.
And then obviously they left back to Oakland, and now they're in fucking Las Vegas. And I'm still sticking with them because I don't change teams. I'm just like fucking ride or die for sports. Shit. Tennis, I did follow when I was paying attention more when I was playing. But I've kind of fallen off on that. And I tried getting into cricket. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with cricket. Yeah, that's lost on me. I tried. I'm sorry. Fucking all the UK nations are under the dominion of the crown.
Yeah, play fucking cricket. Get fucked.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't make it.
Dude, I tried.
It doesn't make sense, man. I don't get it.
I tried. Soccer or football, rather, probably the more appropriate term. I tried. I mean, European football is leagues above U.S. soccer because they're taking shots from like,
oh shit, yeah,
10 or 20 yards back from where the goal zone area, I forgot what that's called, like the goal box, or
yeah.
They're taking shots from all the way over there and making incredible passes, and man, we're just like so much further behind. But now they're having a lot of the European players come out over to the U.S. because they want to get that fucking payday or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough for me. I don't care.
No, yeah,
don't care. Basketball, I played basketball when I was younger. Love the Lakers. Got to see Kobe and Shaq do their thing, 5 championships, all that shit. Even with Kobe and Paul Gasol in the 2010s, but haven't really been paying attention too much with LeBron because I've never really been like a huge LeBron fan and don't really care. So
yeah.
What you got?
Well, you brought up a fucking repressed. I don't know if it's a repressed memory or whatever.
Memory, yeah.
But like from when you're talking about all this shit from being a kid, I forgot that technically, on a technical purposes, I was technically a professional skateboarder at one point.
Oh yeah,
because when in like 98, 99, I don't remember the exact year, but it was around then. There used to be, because skateboarding was big when we were fucking, I don't know about for you, but at least for me, in my circles that I ran in, skateboarding was fucking huge.
Everybody loves skateboard, yeah.
And so there was this local, I don't know, board store. It was Extreme Board Shop, EBS, and they don't exist anymore. And they don't exist anywhere. They're just completely fucking gone. And I don't know if they were a national kind of deal or if they were just semi-local to Corona. I'm not fucking sure. But they had this deal set up where like every 6 months they would do a recruitment and they would do quote unquote what they called a sponsorship. And so you could go and try out quote unquote and get sponsored. All you had to be able to do was, I think you had to be able to do an ollie, a kickflip, and then you had to be able to do some sort of grinding for, I think, 10 feet. It didn't matter what kind of grind you did, but you had to do it for like 10 feet. And then they called it like a special trick. So I had not developed, but I had learned how to do, it was called the hard flip, where you basically flip the board up and it goes in between your legs and then it slams back down on the ground and then you just fucking land on it. And so that was like my special move, I guess, in Tony Hawk terms, my finisher in wrestling terms.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was just do that. And then they said, oh, cool. And you like sign this thing and then you're sponsored. And then now you could go in like once a month and you could get a free shirt and you got stickers and like they would just give you shit. And I think it was more for them to try to advertise.
Yeah.
To so that you would wear their shit for free, and then everybody would be like, "Oh, where's that?" And then you would say, "Oh, I'm sponsored by Extreme Board Shop."
But you had some merit too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. You had this quote unquote merit, and so, dude, I remember everybody was like, "Oh, if you weren't sponsored, then you were a fucking straight poser," because it was so easy to get sponsored by this fucking place.
Yeah.
And so I remember everybody I went with too at school that was a serious, and there was not a lot of, there's maybe like 10 or 15 of us that were quote unquote sponsored. Yeah. And we were almost like a clique in and of ourselves, but none of us hung out with each other. But whenever we'd see each other walking, we'd always just do that, like the tip of the hat, like respect.
Yes.
You are one of the chosen ones because you could do 3 fucking tricks like an asshole that everybody else can do, but maybe their moms just wouldn't take them to go to fucking, to the tryout.
You don't have the fucking
or some shit. So yeah, I remember that was hilarious. But yeah, so that was another sport, I guess, technically, that I played. But other than that, in terms of sports nowadays,
sports entertainment.
Oh shit, wrestling. Don't even. Well, we have a whole wrestling podcast.
You know what? That's okay. That's one regret that I had.
Not trying out pro wrestling.
Yeah, because their shit was intense, man. Because we had a mutual friend that was on the wrestling team, and they used to do like they turn on the heat.
Oh shit!
They do their exercises and sweat them out.
Yeah,
and I don't know, man. Just the idea of the training for wrestling itself sounded really cool. And these I guess it was because they were trying to make their weight class or whatever, but everybody like that was in wrestling had a fucking bottle that they would fucking spit in.
Yeah,
because they were trying to make weight, because it's, I guess, spitting
dehydrates you or whatever.
Yeah.
And because that's how you drop weight quick, is you just get dehydrated really bad, because whatever 10 or 15% of your body weight's just water, so you can drop that amount of weight overnight if you just be super dehydrated, and it's terrible for you. So, but I mean, nowadays there's professional fighters that there's legitimate, somewhat healthier protocols to do that, to cut weight. But I remember there was this one kid on the wrestling team that fucking was sitting there in one of my class, and he was like eating an almond. He was just slowly like taking very slow bites, and it's just one almond. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm eating lunch." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he's, "Well, this is my lunch." "You're one fucking almond?"
Yeah,
that's all I can eat today.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, because I got to cut weight, so this all I get to eat today is this one almond, so I'm trying to make it last."
Yeah.
It's just fucking like, wow, what a miserable fucking existence
in
that
fucking
was.
High school, dude.
In high school, you got to learn. That's when your brain needs to be at 100% so you can fucking do it. But then you're basically starving yourself half the year while you're trying to make weight to wrestle. And then
for what
reason though? Yeah. What are you going to do with that shit? But
I did think, I mean, shit, if there was anybody that had any real athletic ability, and maybe the swimmers too, because the swimmers were like,
definitely,
dude, I can't swim for more than, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever. But
yeah,
these guys are doing like 30 fucking laps.
No big deal.
They were the Giga Chads of the school.
True.
Because you had the physique and everything. But I mean, if anybody was gonna fucking scrap at school, like, you weren't gonna fuck with a wrestler, dude. So that was kind of like the reason I thought about doing it, but I never knew if I had that ability. So small regret, about that. But anyways, yeah.
You remember that time we went and fucking wrestled at the park?
Yeah.
And that one dude fucking choked that girl, like, just fucking for no reason,
because she was
whooping his ass, and then he just gets on her and just fucking starts rape choking her. And I'm like, bro, this is it. Call it a day. That was a fucking that was fun. That was a fun fucking time.
It was like no fucking lights.
It was the middle of the night.
Wrestling at the park.
We just straight up decided, we were all sitting there. I think we had been drinking, and we were just, "Hey, you guys want to go wrestle?" "Yeah, where are we gonna do this at?" Well, because I think we were at Frank's place. I don't remember. We were somewhere, and we were just, "Where are we gonna go?" "Oh, we can't do it here. There's no room." "Oh, fuck. Let's go to the park." "Oh, let's go to the park." "Yeah, that's a great idea." At fucking 2 a.m. or whatever the fuck time it was.
I don't know. Yeah.
We all roll out there, and fucking there's these people there at the park. There's these like girls just chilling. So we're like, all right, well, we don't want them to call the cops on us because they're gonna see us fighting each other. So we need to be proactive on this.
Yeah.
So then we go up and tell them that we're with the local college wrestling team, and then we're just practicing. So don't call the cops on us. And they were like, "Oh yeah, cool, no problem, don't worry, we won't." And so then we're going, and then this chick comes up and she's like, "Oh hey, can I wrestle?" And then I was like, I don't know about this. And then the one crazy fucking former friend of ours was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And all right. So I think I reffed that one. And then she was like kind of tying him up. Like she did some jujitsu on her or some shit. And then he got mad. And then he just, cause he was bigger than her. So then he just rolls over on her and just starts fucking just straight rape choking her, man. Like just, and I'm like, bro, whoa, hold on. You gotta stay. You cannot do that, bro. What is fucking wrong with you?
Yeah.
That is against, we have no rules, but that is against the rules for sure.
Yeah.
And man, that was a fun ass fucking time though.
Yeah. I remember I wrestled against one of our friends, and that guy actually wrestled in high school.
Oh yeah.
And I nearly won, but I don't know what happened. I feel like some bullshittery happened with the person in charge of the clock. But I ended up losing. But I wasn't even mad because like I didn't even know if I could even fucking fight. But it lasted long enough for me to nearly choke him out because I nearly had him. But yeah. That was a fun experience.
It was a good time. Yeah. I wrestled him too, and yeah, man, he's way stronger than he looks. I tell you that.
Oh man, yeah.
And fuck, dude, he fucked up my foot too somehow.
I think this is like right after or during the time we were doing P90X.
Yeah.
Because we were actually kind of in shape.
Decent shape. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, let's find out how.
Let's find out who the toughest one is.
Yeah.
By wrestling each other like idiots at the park. In the middle of the night. But yeah, that was fun. But anyways, all right, back to the topic at hand, I guess. Current sports teams that you follow or current sports that you follow, what do you got?
I haven't been following the Lakers too much, but I know they just won the in-season tournament, of course, with like LeBron and Anthony Davis and shit and company. But baseball is like bar none my favorite sport. Hockey is probably second, football third, and respectfully, Dodgers, LA Kings, Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, okay. So for me, I would say it's probably the same. Baseball, well, maybe not in that order, but baseball, hockey, football. That's pretty much what I'm watching or following now at this point. I feel like I will have to explain my choices in team because fucking people are fucking assholes. But it's not wishy-washy because I'm not changing teams or whatever. So obviously for those of you that know me, you're gonna already know the answer to this. But for football, I'm a fucking Patriots guy. I have always been a Patriots guy since before fucking like the 2000s. All right, when my dad was a fan. I don't know why, but he was a fan when they were bad. Okay, and so was I.
Yeah, they were shit for a long time.
For a long time. And I was a fan back when Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. Okay, so I remember those days. And they were garbage. I feel a sense of deja vu because I feel like that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
But I don't care because we just had the 20 fucking year run of the greatest fucking run in sports history. Yeah. So sure, I got lucky and I lucked into a good fucking that ended up turning into a good team. They weren't a good team when I started following them. No, they were not. So people always give me shit for it, and I'm just like, what? Like the other day, I went in to go rent a fucking cubicle or a storage thing, and I was wearing my Patriots Santa hat, and the second I walk in there, oh, how can I help you? I was like, yeah, I'm here to rent a unit. I don't know if we can rent to you. And I was like, why? And they're like, oh, that hat you got on. And I'm like, because I'm a Patriots fan. I said, I just said to her, I said, you people who are against the Patriots, you're those jokes don't work anymore because you're getting your laughs now because we're terrible. You shouldn't give a shit that I'm a Patriots fan. You should laugh incessantly at me, but not deny me service. Back when we were winning, yes, I got that all the time. Oh, I don't know if I'm wearing my Patriots hat or a Patriots shirt. Oh, I don't know if we can serve you at this restaurant because you're a Patriots fan. I get it. People hate. People don't like things that are better than them. And Patriots, well, we were just better than them. Now we're not. So whatever. You're getting your fucking last laugh.
Yeah, I don't understand here locally why there's so many Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I don't get that one. I mean, I guess it's California where we're at.
Yeah,
there wasn't a team for a long time. I mean, the Raiders left,
the Rams left,
and everybody else was like 49ers.
Well, yeah, you got way up north 49ers, or you got San Diego Chargers. That was what you had for the longest time.
Yeah, but there's people that just out of nowhere. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers? Well, it's because I feel like it's because they went on a run and they were winning championships. Yeah. But it's funny because I have not met many other people who are Patriots fans around here. Yeah. And the Patriots, again, arguably had the best run. So you figured some of us would have came along, but I guess people wouldn't go to that extreme, I guess, or whatever. But I see Steelers fans and I see Cowboys fans. And you know what the weirdest one is? I was just watching the Chargers game earlier today when I was folding laundry.
Yeah.
And it was Chargers and Broncos, and they were in LA. And man, there were more orange jerseys than there were fucking blue jerseys in the fans. It was a sea of fucking orange. Every time a Denver play would happen, I thought I was just listening to it at first. I thought they were playing in Denver.
Yeah.
And they were not. They were playing in LA. So I was just like, wow, this is wild. So that's another one that kind of throws me. But anyways, so for that, and then we got for baseball, I'm an Angels Fan. I've followed the Angels since I was a kid, since they were the California Angels.
They should bring those jerseys back.
Those were sweet. I was a kind of a fan of the Dodgers for a while, and I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but I just had a bad experience at the stadium.
Here we go again with the fucking Mike Piazza shit.
Listen, it didn't have to do. Mike Piazza wasn't the bad. Mike Piazza was the reason I liked the Dodgers. All right, Mike Piazza's.
Who's the one that did you dirty?
Well, it was Eric Karros and Bobby Bonds. All right, those were the fucking two assholes that fucking did me dirty. Okay, now granted, I was a kid, so and it really maybe wasn't even their fault, but it kind of was. But they saw what would happen and allowed security to escort me out as a fucking child. Yeah. Okay, as a fucking child, and sign adult baseballs. Who all those assholes were gonna do? We're gonna go fucking sell
their
them.
shit.
That's all they were gonna do. I was gonna keep that shit as a fucking memory, and I would still have it to this day. I had Antonio Osuna. I have a signed Antonio Osuna ball. I got fucking Maury Wills. I got some shit from him. I got a bunch of several things signed by him. Technically, that was my dad who got that because it was the car dealership he was working at. Maury Wills came in to buy a car, and they gave him a good deal. So he said "Oh, I'm gonna sign shit for everybody." So he got shit signed, and it's made out to me, which is cool. It's made out to Josh, which is kind of cool. My dad got it signed to me, but
so you couldn't even overlook these two incidences in I just can't believe it.
It's stuck in my fucking brain for so long, and I have such an ill will against the organization of the Dodgers that I just can't get it out of my fucking head. I don't know why.
Goddamn.
And this is what shows you I'm not a wishy-washy fan, because winning a World Series would make me, considering the team I've been on board with hasn't won in fucking 20 years a World Series.
Yeah, 21 years.
Yeah, 2001 was when they won. 2002. 2002. I haven't fucking. You would think that I would have, if I was a wishy-washy fan, I would have said, you know what, I can let that go. I'm gonna jump on board the Dodgers, but I'm not a wishy-washy fan, and I can't let this go. So I just can't get on board back with the Dodgers. I don't know. I'll never be able to do it. I'll always, till I die, just hate the Dodgers, and I'll be an Angels fan.
That's so fucked, dude. It's like whatever that moment provoked in you, it's like, well, what about all the other good times, dude?
You're right. I had a bunch of good times. All the good times of going to Dodger Stadium, man. Listening to Vin Scully, watching Dodger games on KTLA 5, and hearing Vin Scully fucking talk about the Dodgers and fucking, because I liked both the Dodgers and the Angels. The Angels were my American League team, and the Dodgers were my National League team when I was a kid. And that one fucking event happened, and I fucking said, never again will I be a Dodgers fan. I left the stadium, and I said, get fucked. And I'm never watching the Dodgers again. And then fucking Mike Piazza had already been traded. He was already on the Mets, I think, at that point. So I just said, good. You know what? Now I definitely don't need to be a Dodgers fan. And not that I became a Mets fan, but I fucking, or a Marlins fan when he went to play for them. But, I like Mike Piazza. He's a good dude. Glad he made it into the Hall of Fame. Fucking
he did.
Excellent fella, So, but anyway, so I had the Angels. And then for hockey, I never really had a hockey team. I just liked hockey. I liked the fucking sport of hockey. I didn't really root. I would basically go watch the playoffs, and I'd pick a team at the beginning of the playoffs, when I was a kid, and I just root for that team throughout the fucking playoffs. And then if they would be eliminated, I would just kind of pick a team. But I never owned any gear or anything from any team. I just kind of was like, man, I had a couple of Ducks things because I had went to a couple of Ducks games.
Yeah.
My wife is a huge fucking Kings fan, much like you, and when we got together, I don't know, man. I just couldn't fucking jump fully on board just because I felt like an asshole being like, I'm going to co-op. Because that was when they were winning Stanley Cups at that time when we were getting together. It was around that time. Yeah. So I just felt like I'd be a bandwagoner. So I just didn't jump on board. And then I said, you know what? I told her, you know what? The next fucking expansion team that ever comes out, or if a team moves locales, I'll fucking maybe jump on board with them and pick that team. So as it just so happened, a few years later in 17, I think, or 18, they added the Vegas team, the Golden Knights. So I jumped on that bandwagon.
I feel like that was 2019.
Maybe it was 2019. Well, I think it was 2018 was when they like announced it, and so that's when I started getting like hyped for it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think the 2019 season was the first time they played.
I think their jerseys are AIDS, dude. The color scheme is dog shit, but yeah, go ahead.
You're right, it is, and it's because the guy fucking likes. I don't know if he went. The guy who owns the team, I don't know if he went to West Point, but that's what the whole thing's named after is the West Point Gold, like the Knights, like the like that's and that's what the color scheme looks like too.
Yeah, it has like these really odd metallic colors, like whatever that mustard.
That gold mustard,
looks like puke.
It
just looks like puke.
It is AIDS.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's straight
the
up
white
cancer.
jerseys are fine because it kind of evens it out.
It does.
Everything else,
the red. They have these red jerseys with this other logo that's like it's like their. I don't know if it's like their throwback version because they didn't exist, so they just made up a throwback version. But it's like these two crossed swords and then like a star in the middle. And their jersey, it's like red. It's like a stripe of red and then a stripe of black, and it looks pretty fucking sweet. So I like those jerseys. But anyways, so I jumped on board with them, and yeah, I got lucky. They just happened to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals the first season of existence, which was fucking crazy. And they basically made the playoffs, I think, every year except for one that they've existed. And then obviously last season, after 7 or 6 seasons, they won the Stanley Cup. So, which was great because that guy who was the owner had said that his goal, and this is like to talk about fucking discipline and motivation. His fucking goal when they started out, he said, I want to build a team that will win a Stanley Cup within the first 7 years of existence. So and he made it fucking happen. And he was like, here you go. This is what it takes. Do your push-ups. Go ahead. Yeah. But so anyway, so for me, that's why I jumped on the Golden Knights bandwagon when they were first created. So I don't feel like a wishy-washy fan or someone who has, I don't know what the word is, I don't feel like a bandwagoner because if I would have jumped on when they won the Stanley Cup or after maybe they made it to the playoffs the first season, I would have said, okay, yeah, I could be considered a bandwagoner. But no, I did it when the team was announced. I said, cool, this is going to be my team. Bought my first fucking hat. I think I bought a hat from them. I don't own any jerseys yet because I just haven't been able to justify the expense of buying a jersey. But I own a shit ton of shirts and fucking hoodies and hats from them that I've bought over the years, which is cool. And then I have gone and seen them play. Every year when they play the Kings, we usually see them. We didn't get a chance to go see them this year because it happened real quick at the beginning of the season, and we just didn't. This one thing was the timing wasn't right this year, and I thought they were going to be playing again at the end of the season, but I guess they're not, or they are, but they're playing in Vegas. So I don't know. We have a kid, so who knows? Maybe I'll get to go see them in Vegas. But
that's the one convenient thing is that if Game Rage goes places, we both like hockey, and you pick the team that's conveniently in Las Vegas.
I mean, yeah, we can go see the Kings play the fucking Knights in Vegas all the time too, because that's going to be sweet, especially because a lot of times when they play, it's in April, and that's when that Level Up Expo is. Yeah. So like, if it could be around the same time frame, that'd be sweet as shit. We could go to the expo as press, get in for free. Fucking go to a hockey game, and then Katie would love that because she could come. Like we have a great old time. Yeah, which is pretty sweet, and we're in the same fucking conference or division even. So like,
so it's like nice to have a little bit of
it's like a rivalry kind of thing, I guess, and they're close by.
It's not lore, but it makes sense to have another team that's. I mean, the LA Kings, like what the fuck is that? But then there's the Golden Knights now, so it's
right,
like,
yeah.
There's a fantasy element that they add another team that's not just like stupid. They're within the conference. There's another team that's kind of relevant to them.
Kings, yeah. So yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It's nice doing that, and it's a good thing. So so those are my 3 fucking teams that I follow. On a quick side note, a sport that I've always wanted to try or attempt to get into is fucking rugby.
Rugby.
I don't know what it is about rugby that just I think it's the nature of not wearing any protective gear. I don't know. Something about that just calls to me, and it's the violence of it. And I don't know. I just always wanted to get into it, but I, for some reason, never have.
I wouldn't. I think that's a game dominated by Samoans.
I mean,
wipe the floor with you 6 foot.
You're right. They probably would. They're 6 foot, 350.
Never walk straight again.
Not emotional damage, physical damage. All right, we're talking about death,
lifelong chronic pain, dude.
I mean, fuck, I already got that anyway. So
actually, truth be told, I mean, shit. For whatever reason, rugby seems to be a lot more safer than
Dude, there is
football.
a lot less fucking head injuries and CTE in rugby. And I think it's because in football, because you're wearing the gear, I think gives you the illusion of invincibility.
And you're dipping your head down when
Right.
as a running back.
And in rugby, you're not doing that. You're keeping your head up because you don't want to clonk heads. And you're trying
or
not
you square up.
yeah, you're squaring up when you hit each other. You're not hitting each other fucking like head on, essentially. You're squaring up. So like your shoulders are colliding, or you're using a lot of your upper back and your shoulders to fucking jam into people. So you're not sticking your head and neck down there.
Basically. I feel like you'll dislocate your shoulders or whatever.
I feel like that's probably a good thing or not a good thing, but a popular injury is shoulder dislocations. But
I mean, I don't know shit about rugby, but I imagine that's like, I mean, if you're like leading with your shoulder, I imagine you run into somebody and your shoulder's gonna fucking pop out. But that's like the least of your problems because
that's better
considering the NFL, like getting your brains
scrambled. I listen, I'd much rather have a fucking dislocated shoulder than a goddamn concussion. All right. I've had a few concussions in my lifetime, and I will tell you, I will much rather take any other injury, even broken bone perhaps, over a fucking concussion, because those things fuck you up. But anyway, so all right, to get into, so now you've kind of heard about our backstories and everything in terms of sports and what we're into for 40 minutes. I kind of wanted to get into a current topic of news with sports, which
will
is
probably carry us for the rest of the fucking.
I'm sure it will. But I wanted to talk about this Shohei Ohtani thing, where for those of you that don't know, Shohei Ohtani is considered essentially, I don't know if it's too early to call him this, but he's being referred to as the Babe Ruth of our time.
Hey, dude, he won 2 consecutive AL MVPs in a row. I think his WAR pretty fucking damn high.
Well, and his batting average was fucking.
It was like, I mean, I don't know if it was 300, but it was either that or
close.
It was close. And his ERA was like 2 something.
And he hit a decent number of home runs as well. So as a pitcher, and so that's where he may go down as probably in our modern era of the 2020s.
I think in general,
yeah, he may go down as one of the greatest players of all. I mean, for sure, he is future Hall of Fame worthy 100%.
Yeah, because Babe Ruth didn't even do.
Oh, none of these kind of numbers.
Like of course he pitched, but I think towards maybe the back end of his career, he's like
he just DH'd and that was it.
There was no pitching. So
yeah, exactly.
This is the first time we've had somebody do it on both ends.
And this is interesting about how him as a hitter, when his pitching career kind of wanes and ends, you can still hit. So you could still stick around. You can get some years of longevity just hitting, just being a DH.
Yeah, DH adds life. I mean, if he's still hitting, that's still a thing. But I mean, I don't see why not if he still fucking hits.
Yeah.
If he can still hit, Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, so he's from Japan. He played in the Japanese pro leagues.
Won the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. With,
right.
I don't know if he's homeboys with them, but at least a compatriot, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was also part of the pitching staff for that team, along with fucking Shohei, who ended up striking out Mike Trout.
Yeah.
For the last pitch, which was really cool to have that face off. Anyways.
So anyway, so what I was gonna say, so for those that don't know, obviously that's where he came from. He came from Japan. The Angels were the first, when he was coming over to make himself known to be playing in America. There was a large amount of teams that were coming after him, and at the end of the thing, for some reason, the Angels were the team that he went with, and so he's been with the Angels for the last what's it been like
3 years,
3 or 4 years ish, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
That he's been here, and now his contract's up. So now he was shopping around to go somewhere else because he wants to win a World Series, and the Angels likely are probably never going to give him that, at least in their current state. So there was some bidding, there was some this, there was some that, and so now,
man, one of my favorite things that happened. So I think it was John Paul Morosi, like one of the journalists for MLB, said that he was on a flight to Toronto.
To what? Go play for the Blue Jays?
Presumably, like I think there was even a headline that said he was going to sign, but that like you'll never really know when it comes to journalists because they're just gonna write fluff so they can
get clicks,
clickbait shit. And this motherfucker said he was on his way to Toronto, and he's like, he actually had to retract his fucking statement. I'm like, well, there goes your fucking credibility as a journalist, and nobody's
ever gonna believe you again.
And nobody's gonna give you information either.
Yeah, true.
So I think that guy maybe single-handedly destroyed his career in probably the most monumentous occasion of baseball. It's wild, dude.
That is fucking wild. But anyways, So Shohei eventually ends up signing a deal with the Dodgers, $700 million over 10 years. So
Yes.
that's $70 million a year.
Yeah.
So also, Shohei just had the Tommy John surgery
Once before.
and once again
Yeah.
recently. So now he technically can't pitch until 2025. So he signs this deal with the Dodgers. Probably he might be DHing, I imagine, or doing that
At least for a year. And
yeah.
that's being presumptuous that in 2025 he may pitch.
Right. And him hitting may slow down that time frame or increase the time frame. Who knows?
Anything can happen.
Right. Anything can happen. Especially if he's still playing. So who knows if the Dodgers are actually going to get the pitching out of him in 2025. That's just earliest as we know right now that they're going to get to use him.
Yeah. I think the money, I think a lot of people were saying $500-600 million. Nobody was thinking 700 million. And maybe if he was
$750 million.
Yeah. So I think maybe if he had his arm intact, if he hadn't gotten a second Tommy John surgery, you may have been looking at the first $1 billion
contract
sports contract, or just I mean that's a large sum of money, but even 700 million is like a lot. But
well, it's the largest contract in sports history.
Yeah,
professional sports, it's the biggest contract ever.
Yeah.
So now that the other thing that I kind of thought, whatever team that was going to do this with him, I knew that they were going to have to offer up cough up a shit ton of money. So, I mean, I don't know what the Dodgers salary cap is every year off the top of my head, but I imagine this $70 million.
They're probably pretty fucking close to paying. I'm sure they're paying a luxury tax now, and it's probably going to be even higher with his contract.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, this is just $70 million a year they're adding on. Now, granted, luckily for the Dodgers, they're a large market fucking team, so
they're one of the historic franchises.
Right. So I'm sure that they're making enough money to cover this, but it does beg the question, and this is kind of the thing about with, like, you talk about Tom Brady, you talk about teams that were juggernauts or teams that are juggernauts. And, Tom Brady, yes, he was the star of the show for the New England Patriots for 20 fucking years and won them 6 Super Bowl titles during that time and basically won the AFC fucking East for 19 out of those fucking 20 years or whatever the fucking number was. The reason why they were able to do that is because Tom Brady was taken basically at his peak like $20 million a year or $25 million. He wasn't making 70, 80 million. He wasn't making Patrick Mahomes money. He wasn't making fucking, these large sums of money so that the team could afford to hire talent that they could build around him.
Yeah, but this was also, I don't know if this is prime. I mean, I don't even know what the definition of prime Tom Brady is because he did it so well for 20 years.
Right, yeah.
But maybe his best earning years were maybe behind him. And he's like, all right, if I'm going to prioritize winning or staying in football, like the reason you would want to stay in football is to win championships.
Right,
which he fucking did. So, yeah, what you're saying is,
what's what I'm saying is he prioritized winning over his own money. Yeah. And so that was how much he wanted to fucking win Super Bowl championships. And it showed. It was something that him taking less money, because he could have, the deal he got with Tampa Bay, he got more money from Tampa Bay than he did from the New England Patriots because he was like, fuck, I only got a couple of years left. I might as well fucking go and make as much fucking money as I possibly can. So I get why he did what he did. Because it was finally time for him to make some fucking money. And, that can't be a sustainable fucking act for most teams, I think, to pay somebody this huge salary and then still be able to afford a decent enough team to kind of build around them.
So it seems, from what I'm reading, that on the suggestion of Shohei Ohtani himself, he's deferring large sums of money, like in the initial
to later
dates, because I think he's probably doing it on good faith that he's going to earn the money that he's going to get paid. So yes, he's going to be yeah, like it kind of, I mean, not to like undercut the guy or whatever, but it makes sense for him not to make let's say fucking $70 million in his first year because he's only fucking DHing. So if they're only paying him like 35 to DH for this year and possibly pitch, and yeah, he gets the 70 million in the second year or whatever. I don't know what the numbers actually are.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but to answer your question, they would still have the money to start
theoretically up front for the first year or two, maybe.
And I still have to see what the deferred pay, like how that is structured. But
right. But see, then that's the thing too, is by doing that, then you're also putting a time limit on it. So you're basically saying, okay, cool, I'm deferring money, the majority of this money for like 3 or 4 years, let's say.
Yeah.
And then once that 3 or 4 years is up, if they haven't won a World Series, then in order to afford his new salary going forward, they're gonna have to cut some guys.
Yeah.
And that's just a plain fact. So,
but if there was any team that could do it, it'd be the Dodgers because their farm system is probably one of the best in baseball.
Yeah, and so that's what's going to end up happening if they are going to be successful. It's going to be on the backs of guys who are making league minimum is what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
You're going to have 2 or 3 superstars, and then you're going to have the rest of the team's going to be some league minimum fucking rookies.
Yeah.
And is that a winning combination to win a World Series? I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
Not for the Yankees. I mean, for the Yankees,
no,
it worked a couple times.
Right.
Dude, they had fucking A-Rod's contract for like 10 years for $300 million, and they got 1 World Series with him.
Out of him, and that was it.
And that was him being one of the better baseball players.
Right.
And maybe not even the back half of his career, like, was he as good as he was in his
prime years. Yeah. And so, I think that if it was me and I was in the situation that Shohei was in, and obviously you don't want to turn into Mike Trout. You don't want to waste your fucking best years playing for a team that's out of contention.
Painful. That's still painful, even as a general baseball fan, dude. That's fucking painful. He's on the Angels. No offense.
No, well, I mean, he was, and this is the problem that I think the Angels have had over the years is they have had this fucking thing that one guy is going to be the one to change everything. They've had this shitty, dumb mentality. Baseball, there's 9 fucking guys on the field. There's 26 guys on the roster or whatever, right? 30 or whatever the fuck the number is on the roster. But there's 9 guys on the field. One dude is not going to be the one that makes the difference and makes the team good as opposed to being bad. It's going to take all 9, a collective effort of all 9, or really all 26 guys on the roster to fucking make that happen. And that mentality, it's the proof is in the pudding. That mentality that they've had is a losing fucking mentality because they thought with Mike Trout, we just needed the Mike Trout to get us there. He's our superstar. He's going to win us World Series. Hasn't fucking happened. Oh, that wasn't working. Cool. We're bringing maybe a couple of, we brought in fucking, what's his name? God damn it.
Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton.
The drug addict.
Right. You brought in him. Well, then you brought in fucking, what's his name? The other guy.
Carlos Rondon.
Not him as well, but the fucking dude who was the hitter. He played first base a little bit, and then he went to the Dodgers.
Oh,
Pujols. There you go. Yeah. Okay, they brought in Pujols.
Another 10-year. And they've thrown like crazy amounts of fucking money at like those guys, and I think that was kind of like the selling point of the team, or for them is like, oh, we're gonna give you.
Right. Yeah, and then you go and then you look at they bring Shohei in, and the same mentality was given. Oh, this guy is going to be the game changer for us. And yeah, Shohei performed well, but it just proves that no matter how well your one guy performs, you still need to have 8 other guys that can fucking do the job. And if you don't have all 8 of those guys, or hell, if you don't even have 7 of them that can do the job, then you're not going to fucking win. And the Angels haven't made the fucking playoffs. They've made the playoffs in the last 20 years, I think, like 4 times for the most part. There's been very few times that they've actually made the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it was in the 2010s.
Yes,
they faced Boston.
It was like the last time that we were actually in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and that's this losing fucking mentality. And if I was Shohei in this position, I would have said, hey, okay, Dodgers, instead of doing a 7-year fucking deal, I would have said, listen, let's do us a 3-year fucking deal. You have 3 years to build a team around me. I'll take this low end money now or whatever, this $20 million, $30 million a year, whatever. I'll take $100 million, let's say, over 3 years. I'll delay the first year. I'll make $15 million since I'm only fucking going to DH for you. And then we'll just sparse it out over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Take that $100 million. Cool. I'm getting paid good, probably more than what the Angels were fucking paying them. And then I say, okay, you have 3 years to build a team around me. And if in 3 years we haven't fucking at least made it to a World Series, then I'm shopping myself around again. Because Shohei, regardless of his arm status, the motherfucker can still hit. So just on his hitting alone, he can go shop around and fucking get picked up by any team that's willing to that wants to take him or that he wants to go play for, basically. So I think that locking yourself in for the 7 years is fucking it's not going to be good for him if the Dodgers fail to perform a World Series, because then he's at the end of it, he's going to be 7 years older. And as a pitcher, getting into your mid to fucking late 30s is not good. That's
especially for somebody that throws a fastball.
Right. That's your main draw or your main attack is a fastball. Your likelihood for longevity is starting to wane at that point. And then maybe you go from being a starting pitcher to maybe being a relief pitcher to middle relief, because you can only throw maybe 3 innings instead of 7. And then you go from middle relief to closing, because then, well, as you progress through your career,
that would actually be pretty sweet though, to have a fucking closer that could hit. Like,
right. Well, yeah,
it'd be kind of interesting.
Because then if he came up in the lineup, it wouldn't matter. So I don't know what the future holds for him in that regard.
Yeah.
But I think that this is generally good for him individually. I do think it's bad collectively for the Dodgers as an organization. I think that it's going to tie up more money that they don't need to tie up. And if they want to be fucking in the running and win World Series championships, they need to have enough money to spread around. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think if it's 4 or 5 years that they're deferring payments or large sums of money in the first 4 or 5 years, this is the window to win.
Right.
Is the next 4 or 5 years, because they're going to have them for 10 years. There's no opt-out clause.
Right. Yeah.
There's
none
nothing. of that. None of that's in there. So I think the Dodgers, more than anything, are paying for. It seemed evident that they gave up a lot of their play, because I'm going to be honest, dude. Like Corey Seager, who was the shortstop for the Dodgers for like the longest time, somebody that came up through their farm system.
Yeah.
He got paid $325 million to go play for the Texas Rangers. And yeah, he won a World Series or whatever. And I didn't think that was going to happen, but it ended up happening, and they made the right trades at the fucking trade deadline. They got Max Scherzer and Nathan Eovaldi, who was actually a fucking Dodger. I remember that motherfucker pitching for the Dodgers, did mediocre numbers just consistently throughout the regular season and all his tenure of baseball. But for whatever reason, there's like a switch that goes on with him where he's just like the most clutch playoff pitcher. And I think he has like 2 or 3 World Series, and he's just like one of those journeyman baseball players. But good for him nonetheless. But But getting back to Corey Seager, the reason the Dodgers didn't want to sign him is because he was going to ask for, like, I think his fucking agent is like Scott Boras, who's like notorious for lengthy contracts with large sums of money. So this was not going to be an exception. So Corey Seager was not on the table for the Dodgers. They were being run by Andrew Friedman, somebody that used to somebody that used to run the fucking Tampa Bay Rays organization. That's more of like staying within their fucking lane and not going for, like basically it's fucking Moneyball with Oakland.
Yeah.
It's Moneyball, and that's what the Dodgers were doing for like the longest time, is that they were developing within their own system, getting those players, getting guys like what the Patriots were doing, where they're getting veterans and filling in the gaps with that. And like now this is the first big fucking fish that they've gotten in a minute. And I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, is it pleasing to the fans? Oh, I mean, shit. It's great, because like seeing a Shohei Ohtani in a Dodger uniform is going to be fucking great. I'm sure it's going to be great for the organization, because now Japan across the board is just going to be Dodgers fan.
Oh, I can tell you right now, the boost to the detriment to the Angels is going to be felt, because I can tell you, going to Angels games over the last 3 years that he's been there.
Yeah.
Prior to that, not a lot of fucking Japanese people or fans in the stands.
Yeah.
It's always packed in there with people from Japan and holding up signs, "We love you, Shohei," and all this stuff. And it's crazy to see because those fans come out and they buy fucking merchandise, they buy fucking gear, they do that shit. And now I have a feeling it's going to be interesting to see next season when we go to Angels games, what the turnout is in the Japanese or Asian or the Asian American. I think it's going to be a lot less.
Yeah.
And honestly, this will be good for Angel fans, because tickets are probably going to go down quite a bit because there's no draw right now. I mean, let's be honest, man. Listen, I love Mike Trout to death.
This is good though, because I mean, go keep going. Yeah.
Oh, I love Mike Trout to death, but he's no longer a draw. He's a journeyman fucking player. He gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
The Angels don't have any fucking major draws right now. And Shohei was it, and now he's gone. Yeah. So unless this offseason they fucking step their shit up, which maybe they will, with the newer managers coming in and shit that they're doing. Like, maybe they will fucking step it up and do some shit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is gonna be a blow. Like next year, we're definitely gonna be in fucking dead last or close to fucking dead last in the AL fucking West for sure. And that's cool. It'll be great because I'll be able to go watch the fucking game for front row seats for like $95. Like fucking that'll be great. But we'll be able to watch them lose in fucking front row seats.
Who knows, man? I mean, it could be like a fucking Houston Astros situation where they tanked for several years and just collected draft picks, and that's how they got their world championship teams together.
I kind of hope that that's what's going to happen, but we've been tanking for fucking 20 years now anyways, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm not hopeful that the ownership of the Angels has any fucking idea how to run a baseball team. I don't think over the last I don't know how long ago that Artie Moreno bought the fucking Angels. Maybe that was like fucking in the early 2010s, maybe like before that. I don't know exactly, but he bought it from fucking, I think, Disney, because I think that was when they sold the team. And in the last 15 years that he's on the team, has shown no fucking understanding or concept of how to run a successful baseball team. And I don't think that's his fault because he's the owner, but it's his fault as the owner for not fucking hiring the baseball minds in your front office, your GM, your fucking head coach, that front office fucking staff who's running the team on a day-to-day basis, not having people that are serious about winning championships in those roles has been to the detriment of the team. And, honestly, to the detriment of the organization itself, I feel like.
Yeah.
So,
and they were that organization for like the longest time that was like the dark horse when it comes to like signing big players and stuff. I mean, in spite of like the doom and gloom of Angel baseball, I mean, in the 2020s they did have a good 2010s. They had a few good years where, I mean, they would get to the playoffs and play against Boston or New York, and then eventually would lose. But there were a good few years, like. But those are far and few between.
Those are far long gone, and definitely, I don't know if they're coming back anytime soon.
And they don't have I don't know if they have the draw to bring in players either. So now it feels like, okay, definitely fucking have to build from with their fucking farm system.
Okay, so I was shocked to begin with that Shohei chose to come to the Angels, considering the other options that he was being courted by, and I was skeptical that this was anything other than just like a PR move to bring him on. And now it's been okay. Obviously, because the Angels brought him on and were able to do absolutely nothing with him. Not even make the playoffs with him. Okay. They didn't even make the playoffs any fucking year with him. So they literally did nothing with him. And now that shows any other top talent that's looking for places to go. Well, if you go to the Angels, you're just going to waste your fucking time. You're not going to win. If you want to maybe get money, that's what the Angels are. The Angels they'll pay you good money, but you ain't going to win. And
I'll take money.
Some guys will take the money. Some guys will take the money. So maybe there's an option now that they have some money freed up with Shohei being gone.
I don't know. They're still committed to Carlos Rendon.
Oh, that's true. So they still have fucking...
I don't know what that contract is. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know either, but it's probably ridiculous.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they do have some money freed up that they can maybe offer some other. Maybe they can hire 2 or 3, journeyman level, not quite washed up yet, guys.
Not quite way. Yeah.
But they're still competitive enough that maybe they want to win.
Yeah.
And maybe we can put something together and fucking end up making a playoff run.
Yeah.
In a year or two, but definitely, I definitely think that this blow is going to hurt us for fucking years.
Oh yeah.
Years to come.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he picked the Angels as a test bed for the Dodgers because it's like, you don't want to immediately go to fucking Los Angeles and then shit the bed.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, okay, I'll get the thing just adjacent to it, prove my worth, and get the 700 million.
Yeah, which that's smart, man.
Yeah.
Smart business. That's
yeah.
That's Vince McMahon. Make me that money.
Yeah. And shit, he could have easily gone to fucking San Diego Padres, but he didn't.
That's true.
I don't think you know what? I really don't know why he picked the Angels. I honestly don't. But anyways, getting back to what it means for the Dodgers. Again, so we're talking about Japanese brands probably wanting to make deals with Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
TV deals across seas to get these games out to Japan. Japan itself probably purchasing Dodger hats and all kinds of Dodger memorabilia and merchandise. So maybe that's what the 700 million is about too, is the capital, the social capital that is Shohei.
Yeah.
For 10 years, this guy is going to be, I mean, he's like the unicorn of baseball right now.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
it's like that whole appeal of that is like, it's not even the baseball part. The baseball part is definitely the worrisome part, because
I imagine, after every Super Bowl or World Series, like the losing team's shit that they had made gets sent to fucking Africa or to like impoverished nations. I imagine there's going to be a lot of angel shit coming out of Japan going to be a lot of South Africans and people from Chad wearing fucking Angels gear, because the Japanese are just going to be getting rid of it en masse and just donating it to buy Dodger shit.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad.
As for like fucking Shohei being on the team, dude, this feels like a step sideways. No offense. I mean, I love him being on the team, but they still haven't addressed the starting rotation.
Yeah.
That didn't do shit in the playoffs. Even though, like, okay, this is considering that a lot of their guys, like Bobby Miller, who just came up from the farm system to pitch, and he did pretty all right considering it was his first season.
Yeah.
I mean, Kershaw wasn't perfect his first years either, but I mean, he grew into the role and became an ace. But that's with the test of time. Like, I don't know if that guy is that person. And they've had a number of injuries with like Tony Gonsolin, who became a starter. He was like the middle reliever, like a long innings guy, and then he became a starter. Injured fucking Dustin May, somebody that could throw 101 miles an hour, like just fucking like nothing. 2 Tommy John surgeries, so his career is probably over. I don't think. It's so he hasn't been the same. Kershaw is basically on his outs, so it's like, where is the rest of the rotation? Walker Buehler is probably the ace of the Dodgers at this point, but he's also coming back from injury. I think it is Tommy John.
Fuck.
Everybody's
getting the Tommy John, man.
You get a Tommy John surgery. Yeah, so like the starting rotation is fucking I think questionable at this rate. The starting and even like the bullpen, I don't even know like what the fuck. And if like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman couldn't fucking hit for dick in the playoffs, like, and they're being paid gobs of money to do that in the playoffs. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is more a step sideways than it is a
you're
step
right.
forward.
It's definitely not. Well, again, it might even be that whole phrase of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah. Because I don't even know if it's even a sideways step. It might even be a backward step with him, because you're dumping all this money into him, and you're already committed to all these other guys that you're paying tons of money that aren't performing. Yeah. They're almost doing the same thing that the Angels did.
Yeah, it's a 50-50. Like,
you're banking on it.
Yeah.
But you got to also, Shohei's not the only thing that's in this 50-50. You've got all the performance of everyone else. And this was the whole thing that the Angels said, oh, this will make Mike Trout perform better. This will make all the other guys on the team perform better. It didn't. It didn't work. So I don't think that it's going to work on the Dodgers. I don't think Mookie Betts gives a fuck if Shohei Ohtani is here. I don't think he's concerned about his job going away, because he fucking plays in a field position and he can hit decently. So he's not worried about Shohei Ohtani taking over his fucking field position because he's a pitcher. He's not worried about Shohei Ohtani taking over his spot in the lineup because he's a DH. He's got his own fucking spot. So I don't think it's going to make anyone fucking perform better. If anything, it's going to piss them off and be like, you're paying this asshole $700 million. Oh, I could do that.
To play one or pitch one
game every
5 days,
5 days or whatever. Yeah.
And then hit maybe every other day, or who the fuck knows?
Or whatever.
Like, yeah. Nonetheless, even in spite of my like skepticisms and all that shit, I do think it's cool for him to be, I don't know, man. Like, when it comes to Dodger history, I mean, we had Jackie Robinson back in the early days, the first colored player in baseball, right? And then I think the Dodgers were the first people to get a Japanese player with Hideo Nomo, and to have like another Japanese player coming into the fold, it just makes the Dodgers that much cooler. Like, I fucking love that, because I mean, they had plenty of like people from Korea, like Kazushi, or actually I think Kazushi was Japanese. Yeah, I think he was Japanese. But then they had Hyunjin Ryu, who was one of the staples in the rotation for like several years and shit. But it's just good to have somebody Japanese again, because something they used to do for this guy named Kenta Maeda, who was one of the starters, They used to play fucking Shinsuke Nakamura's music.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, but it was only on the it was only on the telecast. Like, it's like, starting rotation or pitching today is Kenta Maeda, and then like in the bumper music when they would cut to commercial, they would have, or when they would cut back in, they would have Shohei's. Yeah,
that's sweet.
So I'm like, that's fucking rad. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I do still think that it's not. Again, it's a step sideways, or it's not going anywhere because again, it doesn't address any of their fucking problems for the Dodgers themselves. But is it cool to have fucking Shohei on the team? I love it. Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
So,
and I would just like to say, anyone who happens to be on the Dodgers who listens to this, if you want to fucking come talk to us about how you feel about Shohei fucking coming on, you can be on our interview podcast without censor. Hit us up. We'd love to talk to you and find out how you feel about Shohei making $700 million and you making peanuts compared to that, and what you're gonna do about it. So fucking
dude, I think they in a day's work, I think he's gonna make like $430,000.
Fucking, that's crazy, man.
Imagine making that much money, dude.
I don't think I make that in fucking in years. No, okay, hold on. You make $430,000 in your lifetime. Right? Let's not fucking shortchange ourselves.
I'm kidding.
I can't make $500,000 in my entire life. Yeah, fuck, man. Nah, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely. That's a lot of fucking money, dude. God damn.
What's that motherfucker gonna do with? I mean, what is he gonna do with $70 million in one fucking year? Buy his fucking
hold on.
penthouse.
He's gonna pay half to the government. Okay,
that's true. Yeah.
So he's walking away with like 35 mil cash. Then his agent's taking what? Probably 10%. You think?
Yeah.
So that's $7 million gone right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you got fucking. So now you're down to 28 million, and then you got fucking. Who else takes? Does he have a manager?
Do the Japanese take money out of that?
I don't know how that works. I know in Canada, if you're, or I know in America, if you're an American player and you're playing on one of the Canadian, well, the only Canadian team now, in the Blue Jays, right? Because they're the only ones that are left.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you're playing on there, you have to pay American income tax and Canadian income tax, so you're getting hit both ways. So that sucks, but I don't know how it works with Japan. I know he's going to for sure have to pay American and California income tax.
Maybe that's where the bid comes in, because like they do a bidding thing.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So like you pay $30 million up front, and that's like that's tax that they would get for his contract.
Oh, for the whole thing.
Yeah, like all right, well we'll take $50 million.
Yeah,
and then you guys can have fucking Shohei, or whatever team is going to sign Shohei.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So let's say he's walking away with $25 million.
That's a lot.
That's still a fucking lot. That's way more money than I could know what to do with. I mean, fuck, man. You know how many Bugattis I would own? Fucking probably one, because that's all they'll probably give me. But fuck, I'd still do it.
I'd buy one copy. I'd buy like every notable comic book, all the number ones.
Yeah.
Fucking number one Batman, number one Detective Comics, or not number one Detective Comics 27, Superman, or Action Comics.
Yeah,
number one.
Yeah,
X-Men. Yeah, but yeah,
dude. Yeah, and then I would buy all the Funko Pops that I want signed. By the way, already pre-signed, not even having to fuck with getting them signed. They're already signed and graded. Just buy them outright. Fuck yeah, man.
Is there a coveted? Off on a tangent, but is there a coveted Funko Pop that you really want?
Yeah, it's the original Darth Maul. I think it's one of the most expensive pops that exists.
Is it like a gold one?
No, it's just a regular ass Darth Maul. And it was the first version of Darth Maul that Funko made. And it's worth like fucking, I think it's like 50 grand or something like that, or some shit.
It's the first Funko Pop.
It's the first Darth Maul version that they made.
Okay,
they only sold at like a Comic-Con or something, I think. And that was why it's super rare, which is why it's worth so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And I think there's a hollow, like it's him, like he's just blue because he's like the hologram version or whatever. Like he's in the when they're on the
communicators.
Right, yeah. I think there's a version of him that is also super expensive because they made like none of them. So yeah, so one of that would probably be the one that I would fucking want. Or they do like this thing with Freddy Funko, the mascot. They'll dress him up at fucking Comic-Con, and they'll do like a side event. And they'll have him in certain outfits that they sell only 100 of. And so I would say fucking one of those would probably, there's one of those. I don't remember who he is dressed up as, but it's worth like 10 or 15 grand because they only made 100 of them, and I think they gave them away at one fucking event that they did.
So you can purchase it. It was like an exclusive.
Yeah, that they only gave away you had to win it, and there's only like 100 of them, and so it was a character that I forget which character it is, but it's like a beloved character, so everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
So now, it's worth like 15 grand or some shit. So like that would be some shit that I would have in my collections. Probably a lot of signed Star Wars shit too. Signed by everyone, and obviously I'd be paying the premium for the shit with Carrie Fisher's signature on it because she's dead. So I would outright 100%. I'd be having all the signed Star Wars shit. David Prowse, he's dead too. The Darth Vader. Fucking, I'd have all the signed shit from him. Like I would have life size fucking those replicas of the characters and shit. I'd have a life size Jar Jar Binks.
You'd have the carbonite fucking Han Solo.
The carbonite Han Solo. Oh man, yeah, that would be fucking dope as shit.
Yeah, it's definitely time for Shohei to start getting on the Funko Pop.
Yeah, man, he needs to get on the memorabilia bandwagon.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I wonder if he has any vices, dude. Like he seems like too humble of a guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any gambling degeneracy.
Or
like Pete
alcoholism.
Rose.
Yeah.
Pete Rose,
yeah.
dude.
I don't think he's got any of those issues.
Yeah. Shit, man. One thing I'm really excited for, and I don't know if this is like untouchable or if he could take it with him, but one thing that I thought was cool when watching Angels game is that when somebody would hit a dinger or a tater, they had the Kabuto headdress.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna bring that to Dodger Stadium because I would fucking love that. But it's like it feels like that was their thing.
That's a gimmick. That's their gimmick, man. You can't. I don't know if that's. But then here's the other question: are they gonna continue doing it now that he's gone?
It's probably not because it's not like they have any other Japanese players, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Unless they pick one up, I don't know.
But it doesn't even feel right if the Dodgers did it either because it's like they were doing that with.
Yeah, it's the Angels gimmick, It's the Angels Japanese player gimmick. Man, fucking A. Anyways, all right, I think that's enough on that one. But we've already gone for an hour and 16. I'd like to hit that at least an hour 30. So
what do you got?
I want to talk about fantasy fucking football. So,
dude,
we might be able to hit 2 hours on this because fucking
you go first.
Okay, so. We played in leagues. That's how we started. We played in a league together. Or at least that's how I started.
Yeah.
Back in the 2010s and maybe even pre-2010s, slightly. Maybe in 2009. I don't remember.
I think 2010s is appropriate.
But 2010s is definitely appropriate. That was the heyday for us for fucking fantasy football.
Yeah.
And we started a league. I think honestly, the league actually, I think we watched that and then we said, fuck, we should do fantasy football. And then we started a league. We started our own league on Yahoo fucking Sports.
Yeah. And
we started a league. We came up with some rules. We had commissionerships. We had rotating commissioner. We had a lot of fucking, rules and stuff. We ended up getting a title belt made, championship title belt for the champion every year. And we got deep. We got hard into it. And I mean, listen, I've lost friends over fucking fantasy football. I'm not like, that's how deep we got. And it really, looking back, it was over some fucking stupid shit. But that's how serious it was to me and to us, I think, at that point in our lives. Now, I don't play fantasy football at all because I've dabbled in, because I go hard in the paint. You know me. I troll motherfuckers. I love the shit talking aspect of fantasy football, and I take things to the extreme. And one of the things that I used to do in our fantasy league is I would write these fucking posts, and I would just come up with the most ridiculous fucking shit to say. Yeah. I'd write fucking rap songs about fucking who I was playing that week. I would just light them the fuck up, and then I would always end it with my signature, and I would add in a bunch of accolades that I did not earn. So one of my favorite ones I would add in was always 16-time world heavyweight champion. I would always add that one in there, tribute to Ric Flair. And then I would add, my best ones I think was like former NASA astronaut was one of them. And then
so you're like fucking Kurt Angle of
yes.
like where you say you're about loyal or integrity, intelligence, and you're like doing the exact opposite.
Yes.
Like you're neither of those things. Like you're not a 16-time world.
Nope.
Chip,
yep. None of those. Yeah. Completely made it all up. Yeah. And then I would do that, and it was fun. I loved doing that. And the guys we played with, obviously some of them took it fucking seriously and thought I was being for real, but most of the guys knew me and they were like, oh, this is funny. Josh is just fucking around. Like, he's just funny. He's just doing this because it's fun for him, you know?
Yeah.
And so I took that same attitude after playing in that league for many years.
Yeah.
I took that same attitude when I left that league to another league. And I had told them, I said, hey guys, you guys are inviting me to this league. And I said, I'm just being serious with you. Okay, right now, I want to have a serious conversation. You're inviting me to this league. When it comes to the shit talking, what are the rules and the regulations? Because I'm just being honest. I go hard, you guys, and I don't want to fucking offend anybody and get kicked out of this league you've been so gracious to invite me into. So I would like to be respectful, and I don't want to take it too far because I've been known to do that. But the people I play with in the past know me. I don't really know you guys. I know one of you, then you've invited me. So they all got together and talked about it, and they all assured me, oh, we love talking shit. We love it. We go really hard too. Oh man, you're going to fit in here so good because you like to go hard. Cool. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. Well, are you guys sure about this? And they're like, yeah, we're sure. Okay. I basically got kicked out like halfway through the fucking first season because they couldn't handle the things that I was saying. And I told them, I said, I'm going to troll you. I'm going to find out your weaknesses and the things that you've done in the past that you regret. And I'm going to capitalize on those things. And I'm going to say them to people. And I said, this is an example of what I do. And they said, oh yeah, man, we love that shit. We're so good about talking shit. And I had a dude want to fucking kill me. He wanted to meet up and fucking fight. And I said, bro, I thought you guys were cool with shit talking. And so the guy who invited me to the league was like, hey, man, he pulled me aside like halfway through. And because guys were getting fucking pissed, man. I was in the text thread. I was getting who the fuck? Because I think that year, I don't remember what my team name exactly was, but I also used to go ridiculous with the team names too.
You did. Yeah.
And so I did something that was hyper offensive to them specifically because a lot of them are religious. So I did something Jesus related or Messiah related.
Yeah.
And I became the persona of Christ reincarnated.
Oh man.
And so that was who I was. I told them, I said, I'm gonna be a character. You guys are not gonna like, and they're like, oh no, we love it. You do it. So I did what I wanted. I didn't tell them what it was gonna be though. And so I did this, and I just went off the fucking rails with saying shit about them. I would write in the message board because they were old guys. There was a couple old guys in the league.
Yeah.
So they didn't read the message board. So I'd write in the message board things about them, and then I'd copy and paste it and send it in the text thread that we had because I knew they'd check that.
Yeah.
And I would say, oh, hey, in case you guys didn't see this in the message board, just wanted to let you know. And then it would just be this long thing of just me just running my mouth about them. And the one guy loved Trump. And so I just kept talking about how like, oh yeah, this one time, you know, me and Trump, we got these hookers. And I did this whole story about how I was Jesus reincarnated and Donald Trump and me went out and fucking did some shit. And they were just like, I can't believe you'd say that about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And
he's not my Lord and Savior.
Right.
Go
yeah.
fuck yourself.
Right. Well, President Trump would never do those things. Like he would never do that. And it was just so great. It was just so fucking great. So I got kicked out and I couldn't do it. So then I got invited to another league a year after that because I had nowhere to go. So a friend had said, oh man, we're going to start another league here. Okay. I said, I don't think you guys are ready for this. I told them the same shit. Same thing ended up happening. I got fucking kicked out like halfway through. Guys at work, they needed an extra dude. They knew I played fantasy football and they knew I was good. They knew I've won championships and they were like, oh man, we need somebody who's, you know, actually decent to play. And I said, that's cool, man. I'll do it, but I'm not going to half-ass this. I'm going to go all out with the shit talking. Again, same answer. Oh, they at least let me finish out the season. I won the league. I finished out the season and they still owe me fucking money, by the way. But I won the league and finished out the season, but was not invited back the next year. And I said, hey guys, are you guys still doing that league? Oh, no, we're not doing it anymore. And I was like, all right. And then I see the guy playing and I'm like, what do you, and I looked, I'm like, hey man, that's the league. You sons of bitches. If you wanted to not invite me, you could have just told me. And so I said, I've been kicked out of better establishments and get the fuck out of here. So I have ruined friendships. I've lost them. I've ruined people's lives playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
I've won a little bit of money. I've won, I think in total, I've won, I think 4 or 5 championships over my time in playing various fantasy leagues. And the time suck that is fantasy football in terms of running and managing the actual team is fucking inconceivable. I hate the fucking time. In order to be good at it, you have to be tracking everybody on your team. You have to be paying attention to how they're performing week to week if you want to be successful. And now currently I don't fucking have the time for it. So I'm not going back to fantasy football.
Yeah.
But there's something about the shit talking aspect that if invited, the only reason I would go back and play, I would just have the worst fucking team. I wouldn't pay attention to any of the shit. I would just talk shit. And that'd be the only sole purpose of going back to play fantasy football. But I don't even think at this point I want to do that because I don't. Back then in those days, I needed that creative outlet to fucking, get my jollies off, I guess as you could say.
Yeah.
And I don't need that anymore because we've got this. So, but fantasy fucking football is the worst fucking thing on the planet. You're gambling every fucking week, essentially. And that's not even, you're not even just gambling with your entry fee that you're going to win or whatever, but we would gamble on games. We would gamble and make side bets on people playing other people. I'd be like, oh, Jimmy's playing Timmy this week. You want to fucking go, you want to bet fucking $20 on that game. Oh yeah, I'll take Jimmy, I'll take Timmy. And you're betting on the fantasy teams. You're not even betting on actual NFL teams. You're betting on this fake fucking team. And that's a true gambling problem, I think, is when you get to that point, or you're betting on there was one league I was in where they were setting over unders for the actual games, the team games, not the fucking NFL games, but the teams playing. They would set over unders, the
matchups.
Yeah, the league matchup. They would set
like
an over under
totals.
Yeah, point totals. They'd set up over unders and they would bet on it. You'd bet on it.
That's straight up degeneracy.
Straight up degeneracy. And we would bet on, because there was one league that I was in that was with some guys that I used to work with, and they were super fucking degenerate gamblers. And so there was one where we would bet on like individual players if they were going to hit targets. Like if they would be, okay, if you had like a wide receiver, oh, I think this wide receiver is going to make fucking whatever, 6 catches today for however many yards. So then someone would just say, this is what I think he's going to do. And they'd, okay, cool, I'll take that bet. And they'd over under it and they'd come up with a number.
Yeah, it's prop
betting. Yeah. And then they would do like parlays where they do like 3 different or 5 different players. Yeah. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And I'd add up the numbers and I'm like, guys, we're literally betting more money every week than our entry fee was to fucking get into this fucking league.
Yeah.
So really winning the league became almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because it was just trying to make money week to week off of each other. And it was funny because you'd go on some tears for like 2 or 3 weeks where you'd fucking win all these bets and you'd win like $600-700. But then you better hang on to that money, because then the next week and the next 3 weeks, you're going to go on a losing streak and you're going to end up being in the hole if you didn't fucking hang on to that money. So yeah, it breeds some degenerate fucking behavior for sure.
Yeah.
What's your experience with fantasy football?
Oh, I mean, obviously I played in a league with you and yeah, you said all that shit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, dude, I just fucking hate fantasy football at this point. It's pointless fucking clout. Like, sure, you could win 5 championships and be like, oh yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
You look even stupider with the belt. Like if you had a belt in your league, you wear it in public, which I did, ironically. For a party.
Oh yeah, I did too. We all did. And anytime we won it, we would wear the belt. That was the allure of going to fucking, when we did that draft at what is it, the wing place that one time.
Yeah.
Fucking, we did the draft, went there, and yeah, like, oh yeah, if you wear the belt, like you have, dude, man, we had the whole board set up and everything, like just straight up. We bought the package, the fantasy football draft package that they had.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The amount of time that you put in, I mean, dude, you're checking to see if like your players are eating their Wheaties and tying their shoes right, making sure they're still married to their wife.
Yeah, true.
Just keeping track of all that, and only really, I mean, it depends. Like if the buy-in fee is like, $50 or $100,
yeah,
it might be worth it. But even then, dude, for 18 weeks of just nonstop keeping track of your players and shit. And the worst part is, dude, the players you draft, I mean, shit, that may not even be your team by the end of the fucking thing. Like, you're always constantly checking or swapping out players because people get injured.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part, dude, is when you get to the playoffs and you're like an 11-0 team or whatever your record is, and you get a first round bye, and then you go to the semifinals and you end up losing to like the 6th seed team.
Yeah.
And you were the best team all fucking season. That is the worst. I've had that happen on multiple fucking occasions. And I'm like, this shit sucks, dude.
And it's just because of the timing of you're winding down the season. So all the best players that you have on your team are usually getting sat if their teams are in playoff contention because they don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah.
So, if a team, that would be the kiss of death, is a team that you had 1 or 2 players on that clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah.
You'd be like, fuck, I got to get rid of these guys because they're not going to play for the rest of the season. So I need to dump them.
Yeah. So just like that whole situation with keeping track of players and doing this for 18 weeks, and basically like your Sundays are just dedicated to watching football. Honestly, you don't have to pay attention. You don't have to watch all the games and shit, but you're gonna, because like you got some money riding on it.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking time suck, dude. Like, you spend fucking Monday watching football, you spend Thursday watching football, you spend fucking Sunday watching football. And for what? Just to win fucking $1,200?
Maybe, if you're lucky.
Maybe. And it's like, I could think of so many better things I could do than watch fucking football and do this shit. Like, and I'm currently in a league, and I was actually in the 6th spot for the playoffs. And then for 7 weeks, I hadn't been able to access my team.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything, and I was actually in the 6th spot. So I didn't. And
weren't even fucking playing.
No, I wasn't fucking playing, and I was winning. And then the minute that I come back and I get access to playing my team,
losing streak.
I start fucking losing, and I'm basically out of it. But I'm great, because then at this point I can just dial it in and don't give a shit, and this is going to be the end of, like, and I already paid my league dues, so I don't really care what happens at this point. I'm fucking done with fantasy football, so fuck fantasy football.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Fuck fantasy football. I will likely never play again.
Yeah, so it can suck my big fat ass.
It can suck your big fat chapped ass, because
chapped ass. Yeah. Fantasy football really chaps my ass, dude.
Yeah, dude. I can't even. And look, I can't lie. I mean, I've had some good times doing it, and just like with anything else in our lives, you have good times and you have bad times. And I feel like fantasy football, though, a lot more bad times.
Chapter's over, dude.
Yeah, it's done.
It's closing a chapter on that fucking
book. Yeah, I closed that chapter a few years ago, and I think it was fucking well worth my time to get rid of that.
Yeah,
because man, it is bad.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I think this wraps up.
I think that I didn't really have much more to talk about than that. So
cool.
Anyways, so hey, this was the BFN show fucking sports edition. So hey, if you liked it, fucking let us know. If you think that, I mean, shit, I didn't think we'd be able to get an hour and a half out of that couple topics that we talked about. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do this again and see where we go, and maybe we'll have enough shit to start a fucking sports podcast specifically dedicated to that. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're still around, hopefully, I don't know if we're gonna have the TV movies portion of
we are.
Yeah. But if anything, if we're seeing Gojira or Godzilla -1, that will surely be the first topic.
Oh yeah, that'll be the first episode for sure. We're gonna go. So stay tuned if you want to hear a good fucking review of Gojira -1.
I want to take a notebook and just start taking notes and shit. So we like, because I know after the fact.
Oh yeah, we're gonna forget.
I'm gonna forget.
Yeah.
Got to do it while it's hot. So we'll see how it goes.
That's a good idea. So yeah. So anyways, same thing. Fucking as always. If you like us, go ahead and fucking subscribe, follow us. Do all the other bullshit, and fucking. I don't know. Go give your balls a tug.
Yes.
As they say. And let me see here. What else do we have? If you want to, pretty soon we're going to have up, if you want to hear our interview that we did for a music industry insider, heavyweight, top tier executive, you can listen to our new podcast that'll be out in January, Without Censor.
The Game Rage magazine interview podcast.
Yeah. So go ahead and check that out, and whatnot. So, all right. Well, have a good fucking night.
This has been the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. Also on Twitter /X at Game Rage Mag. Also visit our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com, for a host of other podcasts and more. Thanks for listening.